Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you for coming. And I would like to tell some stories today. And please stay a while and listen. I would like to start with a story about doors. I don't know, maybe some of you know that doors are the best thing in game dev. And a lot of people love doors, like this guy from The Last of Us 2 saying F doors because of how hard it is to make things work with doors. But why we're starting with doors? Because besides of creating games, programming, and talking about accessibility, I also teach at the university, and I asked my students to create prototypes on the theme of doors. And they did a lot of different things, 2D, 3D, different engines, and fine. But one of the prototypes made me feel different in not the best way I would hope. It started normally, there were some doors, instructions on the wall, great. And after each door, something was changing. And I told them, unfortunately, to experiment, to use those prototypes to experiment. And the guy decided to experiment with something. And in one room, I had to find, as you can see, a green button. And the not so fun part started here. It's like when I crossed this green line, my field of view changed from this to this. And I thought about recording this, but I decided not to because I don't know how many of you can have the same condition that I have, that I started to feel weird quickly after a few minutes. And as the corridor was pretty narrow, I was like walking around in circles for half an hour, and for next 3 hours I had a headache. And so the doors here just decided to hit me in the head, kind of like with this guy. So why we're talking about this? Maybe what's this talk about? Like can you read this? It's a big screen, so it's like cheating. But yes, okay, let's try this. It's better? Better, but is it better? Okay, but maybe add some colors and some name. Yeah. So, hello. My talk is accessible game means game better for everyone, and I'm Konrad Gadzina. And I like to talk about accessibility and make people think about accessibility. And some time ago, I started podcast in Polish. So I don't know how many of you could understand it. There were a few free episodes of it. Later, I got sick and stuff happened, but I will get back to it. And maybe do some stuff also in English. But let's get back to the presentation. Why I started about this presentation from this story? Because accessibility is not just about rules, about games, it's about personal stories like this. Because if someone can play your game, it's personal to them. If they cannot play the game, it's also personal to them. It's not just statistics. And it's about real people, like I believe I'm real, kinda, so I think it's about real people. And also, it's about you, not just me, your players, but it's about you. Because I believe you play games, and you would like to play games, even if you will get older, right? And your eyes will not be the best, your hearing will be worse. You want to play the game anyways. So, I have a question to you. What options come to your mind when you think about accessibility? Anything? You can scream, I will repeat it. High contrast mode. Okay, great. Anything else? Colorblind? Anything else? Difficulties? Okay, anything else? Controllers and something? Rebinding, yeah. Sorry? Dyslexia phones, yeah. Yeah, you've been there on the talk, right? Sorry? Photosensitivity, yeah, we talked about this before because I'm pretty sensitive on the photosensitivity part. And another one was text-to-speech, yeah. We can go forever for this, but we have not enough time to talk about this. The other question is, who would use those options? Pretty much everyone. That's the best answer, I think. I would say not who, but when. Right? And this punchline was just made up now. So, how do you define game accessibility? I found a lot of definitions, but the one that I really love is that accessibility is about eliminating not needed challenges or not needed barriers. And with simple apps or venues like this, it's pretty simple. You want people to access what you have to, what you want them to access, right? You don't want to have any challenges, right? But with games, you need some challenges, right? We play to have some challenge, either to be fast or to be smart or to be, I don't know, just anything. We need something because we will be proud of ourselves or anything. So, let's think about general categories we have of disabilities that we can look at. So, there are motor disabilities. Motor disabilities meaning, for example, missing hand or slow movement of hands, or not disability of the person that cannot move, so they cannot play your VR game that requires just moving around on the floor, right? There are a lot of stuff here. Cognitive. Cognitive disabilities can include dyslexia, for example, as was mentioned in the previous talk. It can also include ADHD. Really? ADHD? Come on, you know what I mean. So there are a lot of stuff. People cannot remember stuff sometimes because they are getting older or they have brain fog because of COVID or whatever. And if you don't have some logs of what happened, they're lost, right? We have also vision and colorblind, as someone mentioned before. We can have blind people. We can have people who are short-sighted, for example, and people who see something, but not exactly like we can see, right? We have hearing. You don't hear totally. You hear not the best, but also you can hear on one ear and not on the other, right? So if you play Counter-Strike, for example, and you hear someone with your stereo game, someone is on your right. So you can turn around. But if I don't hear on this ear, I will dead. So you can have a switch from stereo to mono, right? And also, last but not least, we have speech disabilities. So if you play multiplayer game and you want your friends to assist you because someone is coming for you and you're stuttering, the microphone just died because of me stuttering or pretending to, it will be harder for you to get to the point, like make people hear what you're meaning. So there are different things that we can do in these different scenarios. And we could talk a lot about all of this, but the best resource you can get on this division and all different specific accessibility settings that you can get and issues people can have is this website, gameaccessibilityguidelines.com. For example, the student that made me feel bad because of his Doors prototype, said, well, I'm sorry. And I said, yeah, how would you know? You didn't feel like that when you were playing, right? But if you check this website, you might knew that there is a specific field of view that is good for people, like in general. So there are some stuff that you might never, ever considered. So let's go with some more stories, because as I said, accessibility is personal. So have you ever played the game that you felt so immersed that you kind of went out of this immersion? When can it happen? For example, with fonts. That beautiful font. It's from The Ghost of the Tale. Awesome game. I loved it. Pretty charming. And it looks great, right? But if you're playing on Steam Deck, for example, on a small screen, and the brightness in the room is so high that it's like, sunlight directly on your screen, it's hard to read, right? And for some people, it's hard to read always. So what you can do? Any ideas? Yeah, provide a button that can show this in a more readable kind of standard font. And it is quite common practice, the easiest thing, I think. Okay, let's go. For some time, I was playing Hades on Steam Deck again. And it was fun, kind of. Then I died, and it was not fun, but later it was kind of fun, and then I died. But finally, I defeated Hades. Great. Unfortunately, because I was using my Steam Deck as development machine as well, and I was changing stuff on the Linux side, I messed up with my sound. And I didn't hear anything. And I finished the game. And I was like, no, I don't know what's happening. But I knew because I had subtitles. I turned them on before it happened because I just can read and hear and I comprehend better the stuff that is happening in the game. But in this situation, when I defeated Hades, I will not spoil for you what happened. I knew what was happening because I had subtitles. I was able to read, even though it was pretty sad that I didn't hear all the voices. And so that's great. And the story of Sleeping Kid. Who of you kind of wanted to play your games when your kid's sleeping? Yeah. And Steam Deck was announced when my kid had a few months, so yeah, I will buy it. And I was able to play when this little guy was sleeping. It was a few years ago already. He's pretty a bit taller now, but I was able to play on this, and also I was able to play. I didn't have to, wait for my computer to turn on and turn on the game. I was just sleeping the Steam Deck, waking it up. It's another kind of accessibility feature not built into the game, but more into the experience in general. And the story of, the guy on the horse. There is a game where quite in the beginning there is a guy on a big horse, and not this one, this one. Yeah, the game Elden Ring, and I've seen this guy. Yeah, hello, not hello. I just died, and I said no. I was like, come on. And well, it went well, and went well, and again. And once I was on a train for 3 hours, and I died all time. I suck at this. And my thumb started to hurt, because I was just, pushing my analog stick forward and forward and forward. I was playing on Steam Deck, so I switched to those touchpads. And I was just like laying my thumb, relaxed, and dying again. But still, my thumb was not hurting anymore. And yeah, I was dead. But not all stories end great. For now, enough of personal stories. I will show you some examples when I was experimenting with some settings in Godot. I created something that will look awful because I'm not UI designer. I just took some canny assets and just was messing around. I was thinking about configuration of subtitles and what settings could we have? Font size, font color, outline size, outline color, because different scenarios, different people, different needs, and the colors are great, and you can configure the color picker in Godot to show only this, because I don't want players to put, hexadecimal values there. But I wanted my game to be accessible and playable with keyboard and gamepad. This thing was mouse only. But it's not anymore, because I said, screw it. And I decided that, okay, that's the best moment for me to learn how to contribute to Godot, and it was merged some time ago. And I've learned a lot, and in the meantime, because of some typo, I introduced a bug, but someone fixed it already, so that's great. But that's something that's awesome for me for Godot, with Godot, that I was able to make it more accessible because I was thinking about it. I wanted to make it more accessible. There are more things on my list like that. So let's go. So what we can do, as someone said, rebinding controls. And I was like, it's messy. I was just messing around to see what we can do. For example, there are some games where you can define that some keys can be treated as toggles. Like, you don't have to hold shift to run. You can just click and run, click and not run. So I thought, well, can we have a game where you can define any key as toggle, and maybe also be able to assign the mouse movement as, for example, for moving around or anything, or shoot with moving your mouse right or left. Unfortunately, Godot out of the box does not allow this, so I had to figure out something else on my own. But also there is a plugin called Guide, Godot Unified Input. I don't remember, but if you will look for Godot Guide input, you will find it, and it also allows even more control over this. So I thought also that, well, we could. Does it have a pointer? Yeah, I don't know if you see this laser here. In this, I wanted this vibration setting, strength, because some people have. Cannot hold the controller when the vibration is on because it hurts them. So maybe we can just have one. Where are you? Yeah, we can have one setting like multiplayer, that you will just multiply the value that you assign to the strength of the vibration by this, and someone can just make it smaller or disable it by making it to 0. And also I thought that, well, you can invert some axes, meaning that you can invert moving your mouse up or down, invert it so that it will be the other way. Maybe we can have the game where everything that has axes like left, right, bottom, up to be inverted. Why not? Maybe we can just try something like that. And by the way, I realized that I asked for this to change slides, and I forgot about it. But yeah, so it would require a whole conference to talk about accessibility, and that's great that there is one, GA Conf. And as far as I remember, it's held in UK. I don't remember if always, but there are a lot of accessibility people in UK. So you can check it out. Maybe one day you can come there, and maybe I will come there as well sometime. And yeah, so with everything, like you have a lot of stuff to do with your game, right? And as they say, it's dangerous to go alone, so maybe you can ask someone to help you. Of course, it's great to find people with certain disabilities, so that because they are kind of specialists in their field, because they don't know the other way to play the game, and ask them for help or testing, or consult your game. And also, if you want, we can talk after the talk or on Discord or whatever, and I can share my views on other stuff that you're and comment on some stuff you're doing. So to sum it up, accessibility is a great topic to focus on because it's about, I would say for big companies, it's about numbers. Because now, like a few years ago, when you had accessibility features, you were on the headlines. Yeah, this game is accessible. Now, if you don't have accessibility features and you're a big studio, you are on the headlines. They don't care. So now it's like a bit different now. But accessibility is about people, as I started. It's about personal stories. If you can read this text, is this font readable, or is it understandable for people? And also, it will be about you someday, maybe, or someone else you care about, or your players, your current players, will be older someday, right? As I talked with some guys at the lunch today, that Diablo, I played Diablo as a kid, the first one, and the second one. And the third one I played a lot, not a lot, a bit. And the fourth one is online and I cannot play it single player games. But where I'm heading is that it's good for companies that have franchises to think about accessibility because they want to keep their players for the next game. But let's go. I have a task for you. Declare one thing you will do during this conference or later that will make games more accessible. It doesn't have to be making your game accessible, more accessible meaning. You can just talk to someone who can talk to someone who can make the game more accessible. It's like passing the torch. Like, you're here, so I believe you care. There are a lot of different things you can do now, like just nothing, but you're here. So I believe you care. And if you care, you can share your idea, what you can do with me. It's like just, if you will scan this, it will open your email client and just to send me an email. And to finish this up, I will share with you my declaration, kind of, because lately I joined a group that is making a game. Wszystko do zimy wrócą. It's like in Silesian, kind of. I'm from Poland, and this is the game that is focusing on the ethnographic part and artistic part of Silesia, part of Poland, but not all Silesians like to call it like that, but it's from Silesia. And it's like focusing not on hardcore gameplay, but on culture and layers of different things that people share with us during interviews and some field research. And my job here, besides being the programmer, is to make sure that this game is as accessible as possible. And I hope to come to next GodotCon and say, yeah, we did it. So yeah, it's recording, so I hope we will do it. Thank you very much. And last one thing, it was possible that I will not be here because of some family issues. And I asked if I could present remotely if I will not be able to come. And they said, yes, we will not if it will work, but yes. And this is accessibility, removing the barrier that is not needed because, we have a screen, we have sound, so maybe I would be, talking head, just not talking person here. So I'm happy I'm here, and I'm happy that someone made me feel safe that I could share this message with you anyways. So let's keep in touch. That's all, folks. Thank you. If you have questions, we have 4 minutes. 5 minutes, great.
Hi, thank you. I think I have 2 things. One is another resource that I really like. There's a YouTube channel by Laura K. Buss, and she has a series that is called Accessibility, where she just talks about how to make games more accessible to people. And I think it's really cool because she talks about a lot of things that I never thought about. And yeah, just highlights accessibility features in games. Another one is the question, if you have these accessibility options, where to put them? So there's, of course, like everywhere. You have your graphics and all these things. Would you make like an accessibility tab, or is it more like a controls tab, a display tab, or something? What is more accepted by people that have disabilities? Like, do they like to have their own menu that just skim through, or would they like it mixed with the other options?
It's just like asking for this meme. Why not get both? Because it's like there are games who do both. Because the worst thing is that you burned the money, you made the game modifiable by settings, but nobody can find them, right? So one thing you can do is make it as accessible as possible, like to access the menu, for example. And you can write about it on your page. And there are some games that do even accessibility trailers, for example, what is possible. Also, there are some things that can be done. This talk was too short to talk about everything, but there was one game, I don't remember which one was that, where you had an intro cutscene, and there was nothing happening for a few seconds, and you've seen a prompt. If you want subtitles, press space. So you can make it like the easiest thing you could do if someone is not able to find the key. Maybe prompt them. For example, something that is great on MacBooks, when you try to log in and you don't do anything, after, I don't remember, maybe half a minute, there is a prompt, do you have a problem logging in? So it's like prompting people to, maybe you can do something, right? So I think you could consider a lot of things and playtest. Thank you. In the meantime, I'm really glad I'm here. That's awesome.
Hi, thank you for the talk. It's not really a question, more of a incentive for other game developers to actually make their games more accessible. If you focus on a more narrow community, then you can make things that actually turn out for the best for the broader community too. It's how the electric toothbrushes came to be. They were designed for people with motor disabilities, and now everyone uses them. So yeah, thank you.
Great, thanks. Yeah, so I don't know if there is any more question. One last thing that you reminded me of, never think that it's one or nothing, all or nothing. It's always, if you can make the game more accessible for at least 1%, you're winning. of course, the return of investment is not like that, but you have to start somewhere. So I think there is one. I don't know if we have time, but there's one.
Last question.
Hi, thanks for the talks. I was wondering what was your opinion on, so for example, I started playing Hytale this year. It was released this year. And they have an interesting setting, which is that you can change the appearance of some aspects of the game. For example, if you have arachnophobia. And so I wanted to get your opinion on that, if you think it's a good thing, and if you have a suggestion on how to execute it well.
Oh yeah, it's a broad topic, so I will not be able to have a great. We can talk more about it later. But one thing, I think it's great because it's making people feel safe, right? There are a lot of phobias, so if you can do something and you have to test it, because I've heard stories about changing the spiders for something that was pretty even more awful for people. So you have to test it. So that's a great thing. Thank you. And I think you should care about this as well. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the conference.